Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion. Plays Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. We're randoming today. Had some zany runs recently. I'm done with Apollyon. I don't want to be Apollyon anymore. For now. Lazarus is a nice change pace. L9F9 86A1. Oh, did you hear my stomach there? I don't know what's going on. I got digestive issues today. I don't want to suggest it's related to what I had for dinner last night. But I did, I mean, this is too much information to the extreme. I had some very spicy curry and a runny lentil-based soup. And I believe my stomach has responded in kind by going, what the heck is this? And I'm like, yo, bro, it's lentil soup. I've been making lentil soup for myself on the regular. Why are you freaking out now? I don't want the lentil soup. I want a probiotic. Look, the science is out on the probiotics. You gut lord, I don't really like yogurt that much, and that's the most common delivery method of the probiotics. Please stop hitting me, but also, I guess in hindsight, I don't really care. Because of the fact that we might be ending our own life as Lazarus anyway. I don't know, man. I am a skeptic, but I'm not like a militant skeptic. You know, I used to be when I was younger. I'm now, you know, of course I don't believe in the efficacy of essential oils. If this is controversial, I advise you to re-examine the way that you've approached these issues in life as a layperson in all likelihood. I believe in the efficacy of vaccines and, you know, I trust the scientific record on issues of the sort. However, you know, I think I'm gonna dust us here if we can, just to get old bandage. I used to be like, you know, if you believe in that, if you believe in the use of probiotics, or oh, you have gone gluten-free because you think that it helps you out or whatever, like you're a fool. Now I am much more relaxed about it, as long as you're not, you know, contributing to the rise of measles outbreaks around, you know, North America. I'm unbothered if you decide, you know, probiotics are the thing for you, or, you know, if you go on a detox diet or something. As long as it only affects you, I don't really care, to be honest. And if you think it works well for you, then by all means. You know, if you think it works well for you, that's probably like 25% of actually working well for you to begin with. So you're a quarter of the way there. Like, I remember where the switch flipped for me as well. There's a product called Emergen-C, and I have long maintained that, you know, the orange juice industry, and this is now I'm starting to come across a little tinfoil hat. Keep in mind, most of this is meant satirically, but the orange juice industry, like the dairy industry, has coasted by and gotten so much value out of the fact that there's like one recognizable nutrient in it that people think is extremely good for you, and that's vitamin C. For dairy, it's calcium. They've actually, like, convinced people that if you don't drink milk as a child, your bones are like Mr. Glass from Unbreakable/Glass. My favorite anime. But anyway, the same thing for vitamin C. My deal with the devil. I had a friend in university who was like, oh, I felt myself getting sick. And I was like in my second year of biology, right? So I'm like the closest thing to a doctor in our network. And that's satirical, but also true. And he was like, hey man, how many glasses of orange juice is too many? Like, is there any risk? The dude literally had drank like 15 glasses of orange juice in a single day because he felt himself getting sick. This is what the orange juice industry has wrought. Now, he's a smart man, but he is also highly dumb in this situation. Anyway, you know, just because it has vitamin C, it doesn't mean it's good for you. And vitamin C is also easy to get. If you, like, smell a lemon peel, you get 85% of your vitamin C requirement for a daily basis. But that's what Emergen-C did, basically. Was just like, hey, if you think that you're getting sick or you're going to be surrounded by people who are, you know, a little germy, why don't you take some Emergen-C? It's a little, like, citrus powder you put in your drink that supposed to inoculate you a little bit and boost your immune system. I didn't believe it. but I was like, you know what? It's like 15 bucks. It's worth a shot. I felt myself getting sick one day. I had some emergency. It was a miracle. The next day, was not sick, despite the fact that I really thought that I was gonna be. So I kept doing it for a while, and the placebo effect, I think, had a real impact on me. Now, I mean, I still don't believe in the efficacy of emergency whatsoever. I think that there was a coincidence. Maybe I had a sore throat due to another issue and, made it work. Like my body just sorted it out for itself. But, that's I came to soften my tone a little bit. And I was like, you know what? If you think it works for you and it's not harming anybody else, then so be it. I do often wonder, though, because there's this product called Cold FX. I gotta, Google Cold FX. Scam? Why Cold FX is too good to be true. Cold FX, misstated effectiveness, and misled consumers. There is little evidence, this is on Wikipedia. There's little evidence to support that Cold FX is effective in the common cold. All trials have been done by the manufacturer, and there's poor data reporting. According to Health Canada's Natural Health Product Directorate records, the company claims it may help reduce the frequency, severity, and duration of cold and flu symptoms by boosting the immune system. I always wonder, again, if you take Cold FX, I'm not trying to pop that bubble. If it works for you, and you feel better as a result of taking it, and you're cool with the financial cost, I'm not gonna get in an argument with you over whether or not it's a waste of your time and money. I take multivitamins. I have to deal with this conversation all the time because people are like, yeah, if you get cheap multivitamins, you just pee it all out anyway. I take it because, I don't always 100% have a balanced diet on any day of the week, Just to smooth out some sort of those nutritional deficiencies seems sensible to me. But anyway, that's why I have a little bit more sympathy than perhaps I used to. But from I'm an idiot. From a legal standpoint, I'm always like, how can you just sell something and be if they called it ginseng and were it may help reduce cold and flu symptoms, that's one thing. I accept that. It's St. John's wort, witch hazel, stuff like that. If natural remedies have been around for a long time, sure, some of them provide a little bit of relief, if not an outright cure, and some of them maybe are a little bit more dubious, right? But to call it Cold FX as if it's a secret government pharmaceutical that has cured the common cold, and then to get Donald Cherry, bastion of honor and sensibility, to promote it. How dare you? Look, it seems misleading to me, but what do I know? I don't work for big naturopathy. We're gonna re-roll the d20. I don't really want the rosary, and I'm gonna endeavor to re-roll it. I don't really want Turdy Touch either. What exploded? Should we be doing this? Probably not. But I thought, we had the opportunity, why not give it a shot? Have we been to the right in here? I don't think so. I mean, we're really staking this whole run on that sacrifice room, which in hindsight was probably not a very wise idea. Please return to me some of the HP that I threw away so misguidedly. Or alternatively, just give me a good item here. A lot of interesting items. I don't know if I'd call any of them good. All right, we will take Smart Fly, which I think is the best item that's appeared. Although, in hindsight, I do think that I wouldn't be too displeased about the Rosary returning for a second run. This one's it's a hard one because there's nobody to blame but myself for where we're at right now. But we're low on HP, and we don't have the added benefit of damage really being that high either, We're at 4.20 damage, 10 rate of fire. A little bit unbecoming of a run that's supposed to be doing okay on the flooded caves here. So I'm hopeful find the means necessary to make it pop. We're about to get one more Book of the Dead charge. What? The Empress? Okay, we're gonna give it a shot. Bighorn is not that bad. And Sissy Longlegs, this is your time to shine. Yo, what happened? Well, no deal with the devil coming our way. I got shot out of the freaking cannon there, man. Revenge fly, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. We're alive. We got HP. All right. We've had a few runs like this recently that have not worked out very well for us. You know, we haven't been having the best efficacy at getting deals with the devil. I think that I have suffered a bit of a dereliction in play recently. I'm just going to assume that because of the fact that I'm doing pretty well in Super Smash Bros., that means that both my Slay the Spire and Isaac skills have gone down the toilet. What we have to do is take a deep breath, refocus. You know what we should do is get back into our daily meditation. How do we feel when we start an Isaac run? Calm, cool, and or collected. I don't think I've been starting these runs from a calm, cool, collected standpoint. Instead, I've been starting the episodes. I'm like, if you believe in taking melanin to get to sleep, you're a freaking shill. That's my impression of myself. I don't mind homeopathic remedies. It's just, I get annoyed sometimes when they're presented as if they're... Like, I remember I was really sick once, but Kate and I, we had a special occasion, so we went out for dinner. And our server was like, oh, you're really ill. You know what? I was really ill once, and I had a drink that was like... lemon juice, ginger ale, black pepper, and a little whiskey. And the next day I woke up and I felt just fine. And I'm like, you know, they're not being rude, but simultaneously, I don't know if there's a doctor on planet Earth that's like, oh, you're sick? Just drink some alcohol. You know, and not since the 1910s, at the very least. So it's like, you know, if that worked for you, that's fine. And I understand, again, it's a good-natured thing for them to mention it. But simultaneously, it's just a little bit like, you know, keep your comments in your pocket, I guess. Any frustration that I experience, as you'll know if you've watched these videos, boils down to, please stop talking to me. And I think, you know, the expression stop talking to me gets a bad rap because the indication that a lot of people would have from that is like, oh, he thinks he's too good to talk to the common man. That's not the case at all. I just, you know, I talk so much in my downtime, or in my uptime. I don't really want to talk anymore from that, especially about stuff that I'm dispassionate about, you know? I don't think it's selfish to want to communicate less. I really think that I don't want to say I've done something terrible to my brain, but I think that I would love to know if there's, like, you know, radio hosts or something, or, you know, TV presenters that have given interviews on the subject. Because of the fact that I talk so much on a daily basis, all I want to do in my downtime is shut my mouth. For real. And that's, you know, it feels nice. Like, you ever hear the expression, silence is golden? That's how I feel. I don't want to be silent because I'm worried that, you know, what I say is going to be embarrassing. I want to stay silent just because, like, I need to rest my... Please don't take this out of context. I want to rest my throat muscles. Sitting in silence for like an hour is like a dream recreation activity for me. I know that sounds like an extreme caricature of myself, but it's honestly true. Just to sit there and... you know, the only time I'm loud in my leisure activities is when I'm watching Jeopardy. What is the unbearable lightness of being, Alex? Incorrect. The answer was the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks. How'd you mess that one up? Those two things aren't even close to being related. The unbearable lightness of being in the football club known as the Seattle Seahawks. We got Mom's knife on this floor. That's good. We can spin it back into a little bit of Isaac-related discussion. Where are we at? Depths 1, 13 minutes as a very classic place to be. I would go so far as to say, not just because of Mom's knife, but, you know, Mom's knife, Book of the Dead. Book of the Dead is really interesting, and I'm going to complete my sentence first, but I was just going to say, it's not a guaranteed win, but it's close. Like, it gives us a lot of sustenance for the future. The thing with Book of the Dead, it's a very interesting item in that it gets better the longer you have it, more or less. You know, you are going to probably blow out your orbitals at some point and have to rebuild, but
something's wrong.
In advance of that, the longer you have it, the better it is for you. And we've had it for quite some time now, so it's really coming into its own. Really should have used it there. I don't know, dude. Let's see how this goes. I'm assuming it's going to do... It does better than nothing, it appears. I don't want to use Book of the Dead here. I'm just happy we still have the Mom's Knife effectiveness. My favorite Canadian folk rock band. Okay. Been to our item room. Been there, of course. Maybe we could have, like, the best of both worlds here. We could have a Mom's Knife run for power and a Hemolacria run for Zane. I would accept it. And a little Book of the Dead for a little defense-offense. It definitely, you know, burns the candle at both ends there. I am still worried about our HP, and I think that's highly deserved. You know, we haven't had a lot of Spirit Hearts show up. It's not like I've squandered, you know, Super 1 sort of conditions. It's actually, these pair pretty nicely together. Like, Hemolacria by itself is a little offensively underpowered, unless you get it to work with other things, but, you know, with Mom's Knife doing the brunt of the damage and Hemolacria kind of functioning just to keep the enemies at bay, feels pretty good. Today's a Thursday, by the way, while we're doing the newfound Isaac bit, which is recounting the days of the week and what we have planned. I'll crack this open first. Thursday is like... Why not? Thursday is my Friday, to be honest. Well, it sounds weird. Thursday's not really my Friday, because I still work on Friday. Friday is my Friday, because I don't do anything on Saturday for the most part. Yo, that's... Thank you, Burnt Penny. But it's the last day I stream until Sundays, usually. Which means, like, you know, today's a busy day, and then I can take sort of a deep breath. Like, I've been recording so long. Like, within the context of my life, I mean. That recording is, like, it's an incredibly easy task. Mostly because I put no effort into it whatsoever. And have been recording the same, you know, 2 or 3 games for like a year and a half now straight. But in my defense, they're the greatest games ever made, and I love them. And anybody who disagrees with me... How much did Dominion pay you to insult Slay the Spire? There we go. Have I completely neutralized my critics? I thought that's the way that works. I can see forever. A theme. As much as I would love to sing, I think a theme would do you good. I don't know if I believe that right now. What I do believe is that this has been a surprisingly good cardboard box for us, even if we don't get Blood Bag, which we will not. We have 32 cents coming into the next floor. 32 cents of potential, at least, unless we screw it up drastically. Nah. Like, I think about that sometimes. You know, I was thinking about, like my job is weird and unique. You know, I don't know what percentage of the world is employed in a job that could be described as similar to this. It's got to be like 1 in 1,000. And I'm including, like, you know, I'm not saying this to elevate my position as a YouTuber, aka #1 sleep aid on YouTube is this boob, Bear Taffy 2017. But, you know, I'm including, like, radio hosts, TV presenters, newscasters, etc., etc. It's not a common job. So I look at relatively normal jobs, and I think to myself sometimes, like, how good someone must be at their job if they've done it for, like, 30 years. Like, I was meeting, we met with our accountant earlier this week. And, like, I trust him because you have to. But also, he's been doing his job since, like, 1990. It's incredible. The fact that he's been an accountant since basically the year that I was born. I mean, I was born in '88, but you get the idea. Like, is that a level of mastery that is, like, do you go to sleep at night and go, like, I'm a freaking baller accountant, dude. Like, I know everything there. I've seen everything that there is to see about accounting. Has anybody here reached that point in their jobs? And it doesn't have to be a, you know, like a journeyman industry, you know? Like, if you've worked as a shelf stalker for, like, 2 years, do you take pride in that? It sounds like I mean that as a loaded question, but I mean that sincerely. Are you, like, the best shelf stalker? If I came and worked as a shelf stalker in your business, would you be like, dude, you are doing it so inefficiently, here's the secrets? Do you have the kata and the #1 work smart, not hard method for stocking shelves? I take pride in that. I do. I get glimpses of that sometimes. You know, there's no way to say this without tooting my own horn, but people have described me as, you know, quick-witted, which I think is it's a compliment that I think is extremely nice. And sometimes I recognize it. Sometimes it just kind of flies off the top of the dome piece and I don't really pay attention to it. But sometimes, you know, I look back 45 minutes later and I go like, that was a good bit. We definitely, by the way, should have used 2 of diamonds. But whatever. And then, you know, while I'm defecating the next morning, I go check out the reaction threads to the stream to see if people were like, that's a good bit. Oftentimes they're like, yo, that bit was really good. And I'm like, I know, right? What do we got? Dude, I will take a Capricorn, and it scares me. But never accuse me of putting the rush job in on this run. I really think we need the HP. So don't take damage early, and take extreme advantage of Book of the Dead. Oh! That is taking damage early, by the way. Just in case you were wondering what that looks like. So that's when I catch glimpses, and I'm like, you know, I've been doing this job for a long time. I understand it. I also, like, I'm not obviously I'm not one of those YouTubers that's highly well-produced, or Twitch streamers that's highly well-produced, but, like, I saw, there's another large Twitch streamer named Ammunition, who I've watched sometimes because she's extremely good at Rainbow Six Siege. And I mean, like, not extremely good relative to me. I mean, like, extremely good relative to the norm, which means especially to me. And she released, like, her technical guide for 2 PC streaming, and I was like, yo, it's not beyond my intellectual capacity to understand it, but it's kind of beyond my desire. And I was really impressed. I was like, this is a really thoughtful and, you know, logistically well-organized setup. I'm not at that level when it comes to streaming, but I got a real good knowledge of the software and cable setup that I got going on, to the extent, like, we did a stream the other week, and this is like the bare minimum level of competency, but I'm gonna brag about it anyway, where we started by playing Smash, and then we pivoted to a PlayStation 4 game, and you know, there was like less than 45 seconds of downtime, and there were a couple people in chat that were like, whoa, how did he get between consoles so fast? Just experience, you know? But for the most part, I don't experience that, well, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say it's few and far between that I think to myself, like, yo, I have a becoming level of mastery in this field. Now, if I could choose, I'm not even being a self-hating YouTuber archetype here when I say this, but if I could choose which field I would like to master, talking in front of a microphone while playing video games probably wouldn't be at the forefront. You know, if I could spec my character class, it would probably be like, you know, heart surgery. Not for the money, but just, you know, it seems like a more valuable skill societally speaking. That being said, it's very enjoyable, and I don't think it's. I think I've really developed, you know, this skill that, you know, you've hit a level of talent at some level. You guys have begrudgingly, accidentally complimented me without realizing it many times in the past. They're like, how does NL have this natural ability to just never stop talking for hours and hours at a time? It really comes down to a couple of different things. One is repeating yourself a lot, and, you know, instead of phrasing things in the most, the fashion with the most brevity, instead you say things in the most long-winded and exhaustive way possible and explore them to the point of absurdity. The other thing is, it is not a natural skill. You just, you know, after a while of never shutting up, you just get to the point where your brain is like, this is second nature, you know? It's like you're just training somehow. Like, I've gotten tweets in the past. I will say, it bodes very poorly for the Twitch and YouTubing industry. Or maybe it bodes well, now that I think about it, I don't know. But I used to get at least like a couple of tweets a week that were like, how do I start on YouTube? How do I start on Twitch? I get like one of those every 6 months now. And it's good, because like I'll answer the question for you right now. I have no idea. And anybody who tells you they do know, if they're trying to sell you something, be very skeptical. If they're not trying to sell you something, you know, it's probably advice that comes from a good place. But I don't. Anybody who knows how to become successful on these platforms, there's like a little bit of a fallacy directly involved, which is like, wouldn't you be more popular yourself? Like I'm not even big on YouTube, you know. My videos get a lot of viewership relative to my. Relative to the amount that I put out, and also my subscriber base. We'll call it the Arumba principle. Which is basically like, hey, once you find an audience that loves your stuff, just publish so many videos that you either, you know, hook yourself up to the mainframe, or you go, I can't deal with that, that's too much. But, you know, nobody, like everybody who got famous on Twitch and YouTube, at least to the best of my knowledge, basically was like, you know, just making videos, and then one day they did a collaboration with a big YouTuber or a big Twitch streamer, or the algorithm came down from the heavens and said, lo, today, my son, you will be the chosen one to make it to trending. And then, you know, you just spin it out from there. Feed the beast. I have to hit you with hemolacria there. Anyway, where was I going with this? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's just inside baseball. Just stuff I think about. None of this comes from a place of anxiety. It's just stuff I think about. There is still anxiety related to this job, and anybody who doesn't have that healthy anxiety, I don't know, man. I'm jealous, but simultaneously I'm like, yo, you should be squirreling away for a rainy day. That should not have popped that. I'm just saying, okay? I still harbor this idea, not necessarily that Twitch and YouTube are gonna go away, but that, you know, the culture will just shift to the point where, you know, in 2030, we'll be like, hey, remember that decade or so where, like, a bunch of people watched other people play video games? And I'll be over there like, yeah, that was a fun decade, by the way, I'm still living it. Like, really? Even after the Great Resource War? Yeah, even after the Great Resource War. You know how your boy does it. Hold up. Terrible. We should just use like 2 bombs to get that chest far enough away that it will never again open up over the spikes. Wow. Highly rude. I will say that, you know, a lot of my anxiety about this job was originally related to the idea that, you know, the audience that watched me was a slightly younger demographic. Not slightly younger than, I mean, they weren't like 8, but, you know, they were like maybe 15, 16, 17, 18. And the idea was that, you know, when they reached 20, or 25 or 30 or what have you, you know, they would just be like, I don't want to watch this guy anymore. And I no longer have that sort of anxiety, believe it or not, because I think that I've grown up with my audience, and my audience has grown up with me. We have a weird, parasocial, but also simultaneously very interesting relationship where, you know, I recognize people that have been commenting, talking in chat, etc., tweeting me for like 5 years. And, you know, I've changed over that 5 years. They've changed over that 5 years. I wouldn't say I'm like a proud dad, because that's a very weird way to describe it. Yuck. We're still happy with Book of the Dead. But, like, you know, some of the people that started watching me in, you know, maybe they were in like 10th grade, they've been making posts over the last few years that is like, I just graduated with like my master's degree in something. I'm going to like law school now. It's pretty cool. And, you know, as a result of the fact that I was probably there in the background for like 90% of your studying and scholastic endeavors, I think it's only fair that you give me something reasonable, like 10% of your lifetime salary, to say thank you for being there. Look, that's a very reasonable number. I didn't ask for 50. I'm not the government. Oh, he's doing it. Don't do it. I'm not doing it. Maybe in April. Nothing. Okay. Dude, we've been having bad luck on floors, but we can really, like, only be hit by beams right now. It's still a tough run. Run. Thank God for the Spirit Heart. Thank God for the Hierophant. One makes you small. Does not bother me. I'm ready to go. Run, 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 run. Okay. That was a very helpful room. What a strange run. Anyway. I'm just saying, Thursday's my Friday, to some extent. It's the last stream. I talked about it this time last week, but, like, there's something about, like, you know, live content is just inherently a little bit more stressful than non-live content. Just because if you do something terrible, it's committed forever, you know, to celluloid, or whatever they store digital stuff on. I still, look, I know how to program. I have a good understanding of, you know, software design principles. The way computers work is still magic to me. That's like, you know, via a series of ones and zeros, you can program, like, software that could tell a robot how to do a quadruple bypass. Like, that's still incredible to me. I also do not, like, it blows my mind on a regular basis. And if it doesn't, I'm not gonna say that you've, like, lost some kind of, like, internal magic or something like that, but it is magical to me. In the same way that, like, the brain is magical. That you can store, like, an image or a video on a microchip. Now, the brain is much weirder, because instead of storing it on a microchip that was, like, you know, designed by human beings to do this, it's like, you know, it's stored in meat. That freaks me out to no end. The idea that, you know, all of our emotions, memory, thoughts, the things we do, all of our behavior, it's just meat plus electricity. Like, that, it doesn't F me up. It doesn't make me can't even, but it's just kind of fascinating, you know? And, you know, it's kind of like it's the beauty of evolution in the same way that, like, you know, technology, it's not like they started with the, you know, 1 terabyte solid state hard drive, you know, it started the ability to store, like, a single bit or byte. And then they built on it like that. It's like evolution, you know? It's not like one day a human being just, you know, popped out of the ocean and was like, hey, now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by the sons of York. No, it was, you know, little creature had like a, you know, a neural net or something like that, and then it proceeded from there to become more centralized. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm not going to belabor the point much because I possess enough scientific knowledge in this domain to know that if I talked about it, I wouldn't be doing it justice, and would thus be doing a disservice to the evolutionary community in the first place. And that it takes a long time to get to that level. Most people, when they get a little bit of information in a domain, immediately think that they become experts, because if you know 1% of a field, it really does put you ahead of, like, probably like 99% of the population when it comes to that. But what you have to remember at all times is that you're still very, very dumb. And in fact, I think the further up you get, the more you realize you're dumb, because you know, you've learned what you don't know yet, and it's myriad. So, you know, like everybody that I knew that was in like science of any domain at their first year of university was like, I'm in biology because I want to learn how to cure cancer. And then when they did their bachelor's thesis, it was like, what's the effect of manganese on the metabolism of a locust at below freezing temperatures? And that's a broad subject, you know. Then you get into like your PhD level subject is like, I fired a single atom at another atom and observed, you know, a picometers change in wavelength or something like that. And then the news is like, faster than light travel found. A new discovery at the University of Phoenix Online may lead researchers to some information and insight into how to travel beyond our universe. Anyway, it's a big subject to get into here. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm taking a semester off. And by taking a semester off, I mean I got a Pluralsight subscription, so I no longer need school because I'm disrupting the whole industry, baby. No, I'm taking a semester off, basically because Java ruined my will to learn. And to get my will to learn back, I'm just going to give myself a little bit of space, and then in the summer semester, I'll start taking classes again. I was also annoyed because the class I wanted to take, well, this is just spiteful, and if anything, it's just an excuse. Last year, I tried to sign up for a C course, and the day before the class, I got an email that was like, hey, just so you know, we're not going to offer this class because not enough people signed up for it. And I said, oh, that's cool. So I went for a C# class instead, which, if you heard me talk about it last year, was not a very good experience. The course material was fine. The instruction was not good at all. And then this year, they were like, we're definitely offering it now, so make sure you take it. And I was like, you know what? You had your chance. I'm no longer passionate about C, okay? You know, there's no point in even discussing it much further. I just want to finish this run, because it terrifies me. I actually think we could lose a Mom's Knife run here. I don't think that we will. And I recognize we threw this one into a tizzy. You know, as soon as we didn't get our first 2 deals with the devil, we lost the right to complain about, you know, the way that the run... What? About the way that the run was going. But simultaneously, that doesn't mean I can't still be like, hey, the run's been a little unkind. Getting Mom's Knife is obviously good, but our HP has been extremely hard to come by. I even fought Boss Rush just to get Capricorn for a single HP upgrade. That's the kind of world we're living in right now. Okay, definitely do not get hit again. Also feel like our range with Mom's Knife is truly awful. And I think that's maybe a Hemolacria feature. Thank you. Let me put it this way. Our run is so bereft of HP that Placenta is one of our most valuable items. I will never turn on my nose at Book of the Dead, which I think if you look at this run in aggregate, definitely kept us alive. Whether directly or indirect. Well, I guess it would have to be indirectly, but you get the idea. Please. Please! Okay. I beg for you to return me to the boss room. Immediately, please. Immediately! I walked into that. It's hard to tell what's happening. Like, there's a lot of stuff on the go. There's a lot of stuff on the screen. Most of it is under my control. Doesn't mean it's not scary, though. Thank you for the half heart. Little Chad, I didn't even notice you, but you're a mission-critical part of the whole ecosystem here, without a doubt. Yum heart. Interesting. I think being able to take Yum heart into our boss fight is very nice. Or use it, like, right now if you were smarter than I am. What is happening? Good lord. Lots of Book of the Dead charges there. Please drop a battery charge, but also give me access to the boss rush, or boss fight, you cowards. I've done my time. It's okay. We don't need the key. I'm like Thanos right now, you know? I long for the runs that are not... You know, I just want to be a win farmer. I want to farm wins. And yet, the universe is imbalanced. They throw me these runs that have the D-Infinity and go, hey, have fun. They throw me these runs that have the world's worst rerolls and go, get yourself out of this bucket of syrup. So, for real, I have no idea how we looped back around to the starting room. Is this pins? Zero luck is also kind of a cruel joke here. I'm not trying to complain. But I've outlaid my terms to the Isaac developers very clearly in my manifesto that you can find on my Blogspot page. If you want me to not complain about playing Isaac, remove Curse of the Lost from the game. All it does is highlight my own lack of cartographical skill. And I don't think that's fair. For whatever reason. I haven't thought that far ahead. So all I'm doing is, you know, I've noticed that I tend to get hit when I collide with enemy bullets. So I figured if I can just keep myself as far away from enemy bullets as possible, probably gives us the best chance of coming out of this one with a smile on our face. And at this point, I don't think that we could do anything to besmirch the game. We've done it. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. It helps it a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See you.